and say, yes, we will allow you to go to the street. But if something wrong happens, Justina, we turn back around and say, you see, we told you, your demonstrations are not peaceful. Shouldn't we as Kenyans be asking the police this morning, why did demonstrations turn out unlawful yesterday? Is that not the question that we should be asking Bonica Loale, who's blaming majority of Kenyans for being violent yesterday? Shouldn't he be asking the questions to the relevant authorities who are supposed to come and protect the rights of the Kenyans who were demonstrating yesterday, Justina?
You caught me on phone. I was checking which party Ojuka is in.
Yes.
Green Party is not a member of Kenya Kwanza. I don't know whether they have a merger with Kenya Kwanza because he's really leaning on Kenya Kwanza. But let me say this on the issue of wait, you'll note it down. So Article 37, there's a threshold. You must be peaceful, you must be unarmed. What I saw yesterday on the expressway on Mlolongo, there were no police on site. I did not see police at that point. I think they came later after the distraction.
Yes.
And maybe I'm tempted to think that we do not mine steel in this country, but we export steel. So I'm feeling maybe people who are in scrap business took advantage, and they're the ones who vandalized that. But remember, it was during maandamano that had been called by Azimio. So the threshold of peace and being unarmed failed at that aspect.
So who should we question on that?
We are going to question the Azimio. That is a fact. In fact, I'm even very worried for the police, Simba, because I've seen many police have been hurt.
Yes.
Remember, they're not covered under NHIF. So I'm curious to know whether the insurance is covering even those the injuries the police have been subjected to.
Yes.
Right?
Justina, should we be blaming Azimio for demonstrations turning out violent instead of us blaming the relevant authorities who are supposed to be out to protect the demonstrators and the properties of Kenyans?
Look, the example I've given was on Expressway.
That's it.
There were no cops on site. So there was no, in fact, yesterday my argument was, police, try and stay away. Let us see, you know, some things you have to do experiment. Whether it's true the cops are the reason there's violence or Mandamano ends up with violence.
Yes.
On Mombasa Road Expressway, there were no cops on site. So what happened?
Hence the failure of the police. Would you say
when
that?
there are cops on site,
Yes.
we are told that the police are the ones who brought the destruction of property and violence. When there are no cops on site, it's still happening. This goes back to the Kenyan behavior. Simba, people end up having a party here, and then the next minute people are fighting. You guys were having fun, people are fighting. So when I look at the whole conversation, Kenyans get overly excited about these things. So they're like, as long as akuna ngori, let me say that, Kenyans are not feeling like this mandamano. So either way, when cops are on site or not on site, Kenyans, we are not guarded. We want to do things, we want to destroy property, we want to be seen on TV that we are doing things, and we are forgetting that. Let me make it clear. We were told that the port of Dar es Salaam is now more preferable. The moment you close A104, Mombasa Road to Nairobi, and A109, Mombasa to Malaba, Nairobi to Malaba.
Yes.
Why should someone choose to go to port of Dar es Salaam? We are here saying that we are looking for money for this government. We are trying to bring back investors. We want to bring back port operations to 100%. But we are the same ones who are sabotaging. So the moment this mandamano comes in, I see it as economic sabotage. That is on the part of Azimio. We've seen matatu drivers. They were demonstrating peacefully. They were playing games. What they disrupted was the transport angle of it. But we didn't see anyone fighting or beating up anyone or destruction of property. So the police cannot be blamed because it has been experimented, tried and tested that whether they're on ground or not.
Yes.
Tabia za Wakenya will always come up and emerge.
If that is in the public domain, then you would like to think that the people should be acting properly, Justina. It's the police themselves. Because if you do know that Tabia Kenyans in Akujaivo, then why were you not on the streets to stop that? Because you are supposed to go out today and protect the properties of Kenyans who were or not part of the demonstrations, as opposed to the leaders now. We should be looking for answers from them on exactly what communication should be going to the police every time Kenyans riot, as opposed to blaming Kenyans. What about these Kenyans whose property have been destroyed? Who are they going to blame?
And that is why when Azimio said that they're going to report, they're reporting the government to ICC and IG comment.
That's it.
My question was, where are we going to report Azimio for the destruction of property? Remember this thing, Raila has brought up, or he has breastfed a monster now that he can't control. It's now out of his hands. So,
Yes.
if Kenyans, this goes back to individual Kenyans, who are you rioting for? Whose brief are you holding? Are you holding brief? In fact, even tell civil society right now, whose brief are you holding? If you people pay your people, last Friday, civil society was doing it.
Yes.
And it ended up again violent, and it was blamed on the police. But my question is, whose brief are you holding? If you're going to pay people, you're going to give people money.
Yes.
At the end of it all, someone will be given 500 shillings or whatever because they were on mandamano. So where is this money coming from? So aren't you holding brief for the person who is funding or giving you per diem to be on mandamano? It goes back to Kenyans. Think, ask yourself, whose brief am I holding?
Yes.
Because yesterday, did unga go back to 200? Did it leave 250 per kg, 200 shillings? No. This issue of unga goes back to the systems. Simba right now, a bucket of, or rather a kasuku of peas is going for 70 shillings. It was the other day 250 shillings. What does it say? Because of rain, we now have food. Potatoes are not cheaper. So even when government tells us that they've given us fertilizer, they didn't give us fertilizer for potatoes, they didn't give us fertilizer for peas, but at least there's food, there's abundance of food. So the strategy right now government should be focusing on moving away from rain-fed agriculture. How I wish Azimio would take a petition in the National Assembly or Senate to see how, in fact Senate, because agriculture is devolved.
No,
Senate, they should be giving us idea on the floor of the Senate,
yes,
telling us what they expect government to do. But inciting people, growing a monster that has been breastfed, it has come full, no, it's full blown.
Yes.
Raila cannot control.
Yes. Just before I cross over to you, Ojuka, just now, when Azimio Coalition tell you that we are Kenyans, why aren't we looking at them as fellow Kenyans who also have the right to call on their fellow Kenyans to go to the street to riot? Why do we give them special treatment when they're telling you, no, we don't want it? We are Kenyans, so when we go out to the streets, come, ride, and protect us. So they also have a right to ask the government why demonstrations turned out to be unpeaceful yesterday.
Simba, you're acting like you're not in this country.
Yes.
And I'm not holding brief for anyone, but I'm just going to be fair to everybody. When we see police, like on Friday, there was police presence. What was happening? Politicians on the mic saying, Nyenye police, you're here. And police are there to protect. So when they're not there, again, it's an issue. We need to sit down and have an honest conversation in this country. True, Ruto cannot say that he doesn't have money. He's been globetrotting. We are seeing the money he's spending, and they want Kenyans to think in terms of logistics. The moment Ruto leaves State House, that logistics cost is costing us taxpayers money. So we cannot be told that the government doesn't have money. It's only that they're spending on things that are not a priority. Right now, we want priority spending. That is what even Azimio should be questioning. We want a statement on the debt.
Yes.
But they cannot say that because they were in handshake government and they maybe walikula, we don't know. So they're trying to divert issues, bringing up issues, and they're forgetting that the common mwananchi has noticed that Azimio is not even fighting for them. And that is why you see a bitter Kenyan is saying, I had to close my shop yesterday. And it's not a must, and they want people to realize there's something called inclusivity and diversity. Simba, if you choose to go for mandamano, don't force me to close my business if that's not my style.
Ojuka, just take 2 minutes to answer this question, because we really want to get that particular point from Justina. Azimio Coalition is telling you, well, guys, our rally that was planned for yesterday, we cancelled it. So take us out of these demonstrations. When we are talking about the deaths that happened yesterday, when we're talking about majority of the skirmishes that we did recognize in parts of the country in those demonstrations, take us out. Ask the relevant authorities why they failed to stop the goons who came into our demos that we call for across the country. Do they have a point?
Yeah, where I agree with my sister.
Yes.
I respect Justine a lot because she's one of the female those who became running mate in the last election. Raila Odinga has built a monster. I mean, I don't need to be personal. Like, the Azimio group has brought a monster that they cannot manage to control. That's true, Justin, you're right.
Ojuka,
yes.
Even when we say that they built a monster that they do not know how to control.
Yes.
Whose responsibility is it to control Kenyan citizens?
Both,
why are we giving it on one Raila Amolo Odinga and there's Azimio Coalition Justina?
You can't build a monster that you can't control. That's so
without running away from the why. This monster we're talking about, are these not Kenyans, Ojuka?
Let me tell you,
yes.
Simba, we are all Kenyans. Let me tell you. And I want to go back from 2013.
Okay.
You know, President Mwai Kibaki is known as the best performing president, right? But he took the government when the government was broke as this. But Moi the senior was so responsible as a political chieftain.
Yes.
When Uhuru Kenyatta took the president from, the leadership from President Kibaki, Kibaki handed over the leadership to President Uhuru when Uhuru could pay 18 shillings out of 100 to debt. Are you getting the point?
Yes.
Uhuru Kenyatta, with this brother, handed over the leadership to President William Ruto. When Ruto could pay, is paying 70 shillings out of 100 to debt. Surely. I want to tell you something, my brother, so that you know the cost of these things. Out of 100 shillings, 15 shillings goes to counties, right? For you to run an economy, you do developments, you build roads, you use 35 shillings. That is around 50. You pay services, you pay civil servants, all of the rest, you use around 25 shillings. That is around 75.
Yes.
If you pay 70 shillings out of 100 to debts, you remain with negative what? Really, we need to be so honest.
Yes, Ojuka,
So that's what I'm saying.
I want you to hold your point
Yes,
right there, because I want us to come from a break. I still haven't got the answer that I'm seeking from you, Ojuka. Is that when there's mere coalition says, do not blame us. We are Kenyans, discontent like the rest of them. So when things turn wrong, don't look at us, because you can't point me, Raila Amolo Odinga, Mother Karua, or any other person who was in that demo, point me to a video where I'm essentially destroying property or killing somebody. So ask the relevant people as to why this is happening in the country. Once we come back, I'll be seeking an answer from you. And let me also look at some of the comments that are coming in from our online community. Kimani Alex was saying the issue of giving Ruto time does not work. It is now almost 9 months and is still on appointments. When will he work? That's the question that Ojuka is getting asked this morning. We also have David Mbu there who's saying, good morning. The leaders are debating very well, and I'm happy that they are saying the truth as it is. Mandamano is not the solution. Just because there were chaos and mayhem yesterday, did the cost of living go down? Raila and his team should embrace dialogue. All right, Kimani Alex comes back and says Ruto's job is to come up with policies not working. And Edward Juma was watching us this morning also saying, you're a great liar. Speak the truth. How come you spend more from the same government? Thank you very much for online committee. Once we come back, then the conversation continues, because one man then is at the center of all these demos, because the question the majority of the leaders outside and within government are asking, up to what end? Once we come back.